This is Reds Down Under, your home for Australian-based Liverpool fans. I'm Tom. I've been living in Australia for 6 years, and our goal is to reach every Australian-based Liverpool fan and build the biggest community possible. Thanks so much to Redboat Ventures, who've made this whole podcast possible. They've helped us with kit and all sorts of advice, so thank you to them. Have a look at them in the show notes. We have now got a Facebook page to go with our Instagram page, so take a little look at that. And if you are enjoying the podcast but you haven't reviewed it yet, give it a review, please. Thank you. This week I've got my oldest mate on, Adam. He's a Scouser, still living in Liverpool, and he was there for that huge win against Tottenham to see Liverpool win that 20th league title. Thanks so much for everyone for following the journey so far. I hope you enjoy this podcast because I enjoy recording it. Cheers, Reds.
This is the Reds Down Under podcast, the best place to follow the Reds in Australia. Enjoy the show.
We are the Reds Down Under, and this is our podcast.
To introduce Adam, or Rev as I call him, he's one of my oldest mates for sure. We've known each other since we were wee lads, and Adam, well, has been my match-going partner until I moved to Australia, but that's a sore point, so we won't get into that too much. You might have seen Rev on our socials because he sent us in some content that we turned into a reel from the Spurs game, mate. I mean, let's jump into that. Let's get into it. We've experienced some unbelievable matches at Anfield and times. You've been in the stadium when we've won the European Cup. Where does that title win, being there in the stadium against Spurs, level up on those things for you, mate?
Oh, it's probably the best, you know. Honestly, it was probably
really?
The best. Yeah, I mean, to apologise. It was, do you know what it was? It was like, I've never been in the stadium so early. I don't think I've been in the stadium that early since I was a kid.
Well, how long did you get in the ground?
We were in there about an hour
kickoff?
before. We were in there about an hour before. Me and our kid, like.
Yeah, see, that's normally prime boozer time, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, like, you know, we were out at 12 o'clock, so everyone was knocking on the boozer doors at 12 o'clock, you know what I mean? Bear in mind it was 4:30.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go to the pub at 12 o'clock on a normal 4:30 game, would you know what I mean? But
No.
everyone was out. And to be honest with you, our Catherine lives in town now, so we met her up the ground, so she was up the ground really early. I think she was up the ground about 1 o'clock. And it was chocker then, outside the grounds. But yeah, I mean, like I was saying to you before, there was no way Liverpool were getting beat that day. No way. Right? Because with any team out in front of Liverpool, there was no, like I mentioned before, I know it was just like a different situation in 2014 with Chelsea, because Chelsea were a much better team and they were in a completely different position to Tottenham. In a completely different position to Tottenham. And we parked the bus and killed it, and they done everything if he did it well. But there was no way, no one could have done that to Liverpool on Sunday. You just knew. We knew we weren't losing, not a chance. It wouldn't happen. You just knew. It was mad.
So, I mean, obviously you're getting up on the day of the game. You know, so did you have it in your head we were definitely going to win the league that day, or was there any sort of thought that we wouldn't?
Yeah, no. I couldn't sleep the night before. Like kids at Christmas, honestly, it was mad. I had a terrible sleep. Like, nah. You know what? It weren't even like everyone was going on. I don't know, you know when sometimes like, I don't know, we could drop a clanger here. Not one person I spoke to. Even like the Blues, they were like, it's done, innit? I think some of them all wanted to stay up late on Saturday night watching the boxing, so they didn't have to watch us win the league on the Sunday.
Yeah,
that's what they were saying.
Was it Eubank?
Eubank and Ben
Eubank Jr., was it?
Yeah.
So, people who are watching on YouTube will have noticed that Adam is now in the garden. We've had to move him because it was too noisy in the house. All right, so look, you were saying, mate, so you're getting up there, you're completely confident that we're going to go and win that game.
Yeah.
What's the sort of the plan there? Did you go, like, what boozer did you go before?
Well, we went to the Albion beforehand in Bootle. Obviously near ours. That's just standard, that. So I think we had one or two in there, and our kid picked us up, my brother, Jay. And then I went up there, met my sister up the ground, because I was saying before, she lives in the city centre. So, other side, that's where we are, but got a few cans straight up there, walking up, across Stanley Park. But like I say, it was just shocker everywhere, mate. You couldn't get in the boozers by the ground. You just
No,
couldn't.
were they all chocker, were they?
Rammed, but I think it was in a good party way, rammed, not like where it's in a state in the life area and you can't get a beer. There was loads of stores and stuff, had people in there on the guitars and all that carry on, like. But yeah, it was. That'd have to happen, wouldn't it? That'd have to happen, wouldn't it? That'd have to happen, honestly. Bear with me. It just had to happen, that.
It's noisy in Liverpool, mate. That's all right. Don't you worry about that. Adam's on the move, but we'll carry on anyway.
Yeah, I'm on the move.
Adam's on the move. This is going to play out really well on YouTube, this. I don't know about Spotify.
I do apologise. That's just had to happen. Someone will start cutting the grass as soon as it gets somewhere quiet. But yeah.
So, I mean, the atmosphere. I mean, we've been to some unbelievable sort of pre-games, haven't we?
Yeah.
You look back and what one stands out to you, mate? Because like Borussia Dortmund was an unbelievable one.
Wow.
Those sort of welcoming the bus in.
Wow. Dortmund, that was one, wasn't it? Are you saying what does that compare to it, or?
Yeah, like I mean, if you could compare it, like was it just completely out of this world?
I don't know. I think it was, as much as we love Jurgen, and I'm not slagging him because he's an absolute legend, it was a bit more of a roller coaster with him, isn't it? Like,
yeah, you never knew, did you?
Your heart was in your mouth a bit more. You know what I mean? It was a different sort of feeling, and obviously we've had Dortmund and yourself, Barcelona, wasn't it? Which was both absolutely incredible. But the Tottenham one, it just felt like it was a done deal. You know what I mean? It felt we'd already won it. That's what it felt like. It was already done. Probably felt similar to what it'll feel like against Palace, I'd say.
Yeah,
that's what it'll probably be the same, because like I was saying, I've said to you a few times already, there was no way we were losing that game.
So I mean, if you had to describe it to someone, I mean, obviously we don't get the benefit over here. Most of us don't get to go to the game. Like, if you had to sum it up in sort of one word, how would you describe that before the game?
Euphoria, if you like. It was, like I say, it felt done. You know what I mean? You had that mad feeling in your stomach and that from the minute me myself certainly, and I'm sure there was thousands of others when you woke up, you had that feeling in your stomach and you're like, it's done this. You know what I mean? It was nothing was stopping it. But the atmosphere was absolutely amazing. Everyone was on point. The kids were out and all that. I mean, I wouldn't have took some of the younger kids that I've seen here, like, whatever, each to their own. Don't remember it, put it that way. But
was it a bit mad? Was it?
As in, it was mad, but good mad. It wasn't like, no one was out of order. You know what I mean? It weren't like, oh, what's he carrying on for and all that. No, it weren't like that. No one, it weren't like, I mean, I'm not bothered about saying it. I think when you watch them, like England fans and stuff, when they get to finals, and obviously their atmosphere is completely different, where they're geeing up for the game and stuff gets trashed and stuff like that. When any out of here, it was just a happy, buzzing. No one could be put in a bad mood that day. Atmosphere, mate. Honestly, it was great. It couldn't have gone better. You know what I mean? Couldn't have gone better.
Yeah, and what's it like in the city, mate? I mean, I'm sure the Evertonians are sort of really quiet at the minute, like, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they couldn't wait for it to just get done. I think they probably wanted it done more than us, if I'm being honest. I think it was worse for them waiting than it was us. Yeah,
they've sort of been like a boxer on the ropes, haven't they, really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just waiting for the fight to get called.
Yeah,
Like.
and especially them themselves. They were in a relegation scrap up until Christmas, weren't they? And then obviously the other fella come back in and obviously just the 13th in the league or something. Now they've not had anything to play for a while, I think. Their biggest game was the derby at Anfield. You know what I mean? Obviously they got to someone we won't go into, but the derby at Anfield there, that was their game. I think after that was them done.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's crazy. Even just like people in work and stuff like that. But I'm quite lucky. Well, not lucky, but I've got a few lads who work for me. They're from Warrington, so there's quite a few Man U fans in there. So it's even better for me. It's brilliant. I don't even. I didn't. Do you know what? I didn't even say nothing on the Tuesday. My face says it. They started on me before I started. It's great. It's brilliant. Back on the pitch.
Back on the pitch. I obviously, you know, living in Australia, mate, and all the Reds round Australia and round the world, and know this as well. There's Man U fans everywhere, right? You know what I mean? You speak to them all the time, like. And I'll be honest with you, mate, I haven't heard a bean from one of them.
No.
I haven't heard a bean from Chelsea's dad, Chelsea's uncle. My mate Curtis, who's a big Man U fan, I haven't heard a bean, mate. I mean, describe, so obviously what a lot of people in Australia will see when they see Liverpool, when we go for the big trophies, and that is they'll see the trophy parade, they'll see, you know, in the stadium, around the stadium. But one of my favourite things, mate, about times like this, and I say times like this because I've never been in the city, have I, when we've won the league?
No.
So I don't know, but like, how boss are all the flags and that, mate? Everyone's got their flags out on the houses and the cars and that.
It's amazing. It's great. It'll get. I think they'll start rolling more out when it comes closer to Palace. I know the boos are up here usually put. I said, "Where's the flags?" They usually decorate it, for the finals and stuff. He said, "No, we're going to put them out for the last game." So I'll get you the through of that. Like, it's quite good when they do that. But yeah, they're everywhere. Like you were saying to me, like, if you can see any, I could walk to the bottom of my nose and get you a couple of photos now if I wanted to. There's all 4 or 5 houses in just my street alone who've got them up, and they're just everywhere. But you know what it's like. But I think as well, 2020, we won the leagues, didn't we? And it was great and all that, and that got took away from us, didn't it? You couldn't see it all. Even the people who partied outside, it was because it was all restricted and they weren't meant to be there, and the police had to do what they had to do and shut everything down and whatever. So I think that's why this one felt so special. Like, if obviously 2020 counts, it does count, of course, it's the league title, but it didn't feel it. I think now you can put that in a box now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think it's such a historic win. I mean, later we'll talk about some of our moments that we've had together. Really, some of the big moments we've seen. We'll talk a little bit about when we went to Kiev for that Champions League final, which was bonkers, wasn't it? So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
we got some funny stories about that. So we'll talk about that later, and we'll talk about that. I mean, we could talk about so many things, couldn't we? We could talk about Munich. We could talk about all the away games we went. But I think as well we should touch on that Barcelona game as well.
Oh, definitely.
But as like a standout moment, a historic moment, what was it like for you having a son? Because this would have been the first big one. He will not remember, won't he?
Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, I felt a bit tight on him the other week because we got beat by Fulham. We got beat by Fulham, and obviously he knows when Liverpool's out win, his half-fella's not in the best of moods. So I walked in with a face like thunder. And he comes running up to me, gives me a hug, says, "We're still going to win the league, aren't we?" He says, "Yes, don't worry about it, lad." Honestly, I felt so bad. I thought, "Oh, broken this kid here." Like, you know what I mean? He must be thinking, Liverpool don't win, that's it. My half-fella's got a face on for a week. which I probably have. But yeah, he was obviously buzzing with it, and just all the kids out with the kits and that on. It's just boss. And obviously the weather was spot on there that day and that everything as well. So at the minute, they're all buzzing. All the kids have got the kits on. The little girls have got all like the red ribbons in their hair and all that. It's just boss, lad. It's great. It is.
Yeah.
It is great. And the nice thing is, we've won it with 4 games to spare. Like, I can go and actually enjoy the Chelsea game today. Let's face it.
Yeah,
I don't really enjoy it. I don't really enjoy it until it's 2 goals clear. I'm you know what I'm like. Bag of nerves, aren't I? Doesn't matter if we're playing.
Oh yeah, I know.
Doesn't matter who we're playing. But...
Well, I was the same last week, mate, for that game, and our Jack was on last week, and he was telling Max and Wayne, our Tom was just annoying because I was dead quiet. I was so quiet, mate.
Yeah,
I couldn't enjoy it until. And you know me, I was always dead optimistic.
Yeah, you was, yeah. You were the total opposite of me.
You know what I mean? I'd always be like, I know we can pull this back, we can beat these and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, last week I was just a bit like, just waiting for the moment of it just being super relaxed. Talking to Max as well, I know we were talking before we started recording. Max is in the official supporters club up in Australia. So, the way back in the UK, the supporters clubs, you get members of the supporters clubs, but not in the city, right? Like, I don't really know anyone in Liverpool really who's in the supporters club that I can remember. No. I'm sure there is. But I can't remember. But over here, it's so important because you've got to have your groups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, Max, he's in the Newcastle group, but he's coming over to. He hasn't got a ticket for the Palace game. If you hear of any tickets, Rev, let us know.
Lots of times I've heard that, but yeah, go ahead.
I know, yeah, they're like rock and roll shit, mate, aren't they?
Yeah.
But he will be going to Trophy Parade, so it'd be good to get you lads together and see if we can get you boys having a pint. That'll be good. We do play Chelsea tonight.
Yeah.
We won't go into that game too much because by the time the podcast comes out, everyone will be like, what are you talking about? But what do you reckon? I mean, there's going to be a couple of changes to the lineup.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll stuff them?
Do you know what? I do. But Chelsea have got to go for it. Chelsea have got something to fight for still, haven't they? I just hope he gets the likes of Endo and that on now. Get them some minutes because I'll mention him. I think he's an absolute star. Like I think Endo's been brilliant for Liverpool. Cracks on, just gets on with it, and I think he'll go in the summer and I hope he gets a good move, to be totally honest with you. See, the likes of him deserve it. And I'd like to see Kiev, he's got a few minutes, I don't know why he's not fancies him, obviously there's stuff going on that we don't know, I don't know, but lad runs down like a headless chicken when he's on, you can't say he's lazy. But yeah, I hope the likes of them get minutes. I don't think he's going to completely overhaul the lineup, because I think obviously Arsenal lost yesterday, didn't they? So, if we...
Yeah.
You'd like to go for a good points total, because we can still get 90 points, by the way. So people going on about, it's the worst league ever. That's absolute nonsense. You know what I mean? So we could still get 90 points if we get a few results.
We can get to 94, can't we?
That's it. You might be right. I know it's at least 90. So we've got 4 games left. I don't even remember what we're on now. We've got 4 games left, haven't we?
And we've got the chance to win the league by the highest points total as well, haven't we?
So there you go. Yeah, you might be motivated.
Which would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And do you know what? I hope they are. You don't want to see them just go and roll over no matter what, do you? You never want to see that. But I think they'll win tonight. I still think we'll win tonight. I think we're just too much for Chelsea, like.
Yeah, and they've got the Conference League, which they're sort of working on as well, haven't they? So
Chelsea just haven't got a nice entity out there. I don't even want to sound like I feel sorry for them, because I can't stand the football club. But
no, I hate them.
Yeah, they're up there. Then do you know what? I'd even put them as of aces. I hate them more than Man U. I think what they're like. We've seen being down there. They're a horrible fan base. They're just not a nice club. They're the complete opposite of what Liverpool stand for, aren't they? So
yeah, you know what it is for me is I respect Man United.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
but I don't respect them.
It's true that. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, No, that's totally agree
Same
with
as
that.
same as City.
Yeah.
Same as City. You know what I mean? It's like I don't respect them.
No. No.
Hey, talking of old clubs that we respect, mate, and I think we both like. And if I remember rightly, you had one of their kits when you were younger. Leeds United have been promoted, mate.
I believe you just said that on here. I only got that kit because Fowler went. Hey.
Yeah. Why did? Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
no,
did
do
you
you know
have
what?
Maduka on the back?
Nah, not joking, are you? Hey, what's the put four past us that year? Joking, didn't we get him? Nah, what a player, man, Physical wasn't he? He's Australian, really, but yeah, they've
Yeah,
won the
what a
league, haven't
player.
they've won the league, haven't they? Leeds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100 points.
yeah. Well, do you reckon they might be getting into the manager still in the summer? Like, you reckon they need someone who's going to keep them in the league? But I don't know. But yeah, they've done well there. Obviously, that's where our kid lives, in it, so it's easy for him when we play
Yeah.
at Ellen Road. He's home before me, so
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen as well. That they're looking at redeveloping Ellen Road as well.
do you know what?
So
They get some support leads, so they could put 80,000 seats of stadium there and they'd sell it. You know what I mean? They would.
you
They
know
would.
what, mate? They probably could. You know.
They would.
They
I'm not.
probably
That's
could.
not me being funny. And that you can say, it's probably the same as Newcastle. It's a one club city, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's no one else to support, and that's not a dig at them. That's just a fact. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
so yeah. I think whatever they do with
Yeah.
Ellen Road,
Leeds United's biggest rivalries is probably the rugby club, innit?
probably.
Like in terms of fan base, like it's probably they compete with that.
Well, there's
Yeah. So
Derby.
look,
Yeah, go on.
go on, mate.
I said there's Derby. They consider Man United, which isn't even a derby, is it? That's just pure hate. Like,
No,
they hate them worse
that's
than we
the
do.
old. That's the old white rose, red rose thing, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Let them crack on with that.
Remember Alan Smith moved
I
to
do.
Man U, and it was
Yeah.
like huge news, and we were all like, "Who cares?"
Yeah.
And what?
And then
Shit,
Reece,
anyway.
and then Reece broke his leg with the shot, didn't he? With
I
the
know.
free kick. Remember that?
I know.
I wouldn't want to get on the ends of one again.
So look, I mean, we can talk about that forever. We can talk about the Reds that day forever, in more detail. But I'd love to talk about sort of our story, if you like, mate. So we went to the same school when we were kids, and we were both well into the football, obviously at that time. Your Al fella was a blue nose, mate, and did that ever threaten to derail you? Like, were you ever going to be a blue, do you reckon?
Have you met me, brother? He wouldn't let me. He wouldn't let me.
I know, that's
No,
true, isn't it?
no. Nah, it was never going to happen. In fairness to him, like, my half fella, he took us to, as much as he hates it, as much as he hated it, he took me and I to the games. And he took us to a lot. And
Yeah.
then as soon as I, the story, as soon as he could go on his own, me and him went in me. And then obviously that's when we all started meeting up and all the rest of it. But yeah, there was no chance of that. Like, no chance of that. In
I
fairness.
just thought I'd double check, because obviously you've already had a Leeds kit, haven't you? So I was just wondering if you ever had an Everton kit.
Do you want
I've been waiting to stitch you up for years, man.
I can't believe you just told everyone I had a Leeds kit. Just so for the record, I was about 12 and Fowler had just left. That's why. I was pining for him. Aye.
It was a nice kit though, wasn't it?
Oh, I was smart, yeah. Do you know what it was? I'm sure he went down that year. Or the year after. It was the year after he went down.
Yeah, I think the year after, yeah.
Yeah,
He spent all the money, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So then, we played footy for, how many different teams did we play for? We played for
Together?
Ajax.
4, I think. 4, De Laburnum, King Hughes, Bashy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
That's the school when we did play.
Rock and Alluvium, which was Bashy won it, I guess.
Yeah,
It was
it was
just a
Bashy,
different sponsor won it.
Yeah.
So I mean, we sort of went through that phase like all sorts of teenagers do, and we were always mates anyway. But you start going into different friendship groups as well, don't you?
Yeah.
The biggest thing I sort of remember of when we really started speaking again on like a proper basis was you were in. It was when you were in the army and you were away, and Roy Hodgson was the manager. Can you remember that?
I do, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And yeah, wasn't that mad? What was it like? What was it like, mate? Like being away. Obviously, you had very limited sort of internet and stuff like that. You couldn't just go on the internet, I'm sure, whenever you wanted and that. Like, what was it like following the Reds like that?
Do you know what? When Roy Hodgson was the manager, I couldn't wait to go to Afghanistan.
They should have put Roy. They should have put Roy on the poster, shouldn't they?
Oh, yeah, it was a bit mad. I think we only played about 3 games and I was away, but yeah, it was dead limited. Do you know what? It was a mad time, though, that goes. If you remember, we weren't far off going into administration and everything. So I remember going out.
I remember. Yeah, it was bad. And because I remember us talking about Torres.
Yeah.
Torres had left in the January.
Yeah, that's a funny story how I found out about that, because I didn't have a clue, mate. I mean, I rang my dad on a satellite phone and he said, I said, what's happening? He went, oh, listen, son, you know, I need to tell you something. I thought, oh, what's happened to you? He said, you just sold Torres. I said, oh, you're joking, aren't you? Gets worse, lads, he's gone to Chelsea. I said, oh, you shut up, Dad. He's like, Adam, I promise you. Nah, Michael, hey.
Was he buzzing?
Yeah, but I said, don't wind me up. He's like, son, I'm not joking. And I was fuming then, and he said, oh, but you signed that Andy Carroll from Newcastle. And that Uruguayan kid, he said, remember him? That Uruguayan kid, the one, you know.
Pretty good.
That lad from Ajax. So I was more buzzing we had Andy Carroll at the time, so he was smashing it, but obviously,
yeah,
things didn't turn out as planned. But yeah, it was a bit of a mad one. But then he says, if it makes you feel any better, Carragher laid one on Torres in the game when you played them and you beat them 1-0, which he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did lay one on him, didn't he?
But yeah. So I come back when Kenny had took over, then I think I came back in the summer then. Missed most of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because where were you when we won the Champions League in Istanbul? You were away then, weren't you?
No. We were on 16 then, wasn't we? Yeah, it was just before I joined that. So yeah, I was alright. I watched that in the boozer by ours. As you do at 15. But yeah. No. Obviously you went over to Athens, didn't you? I didn't manage Athens again. I was down south.
I never went to Athens.
Oh, didn't you? I thought you did.
I never went to Athens, no. I was desperate to go to Athens. That year I went to Barcelona with my dad.
That's right. Yeah.
When
the golf club.
and Bellamy, the golf club thing.
Yeah.
I went with Flem. Well, Flem was over there as well with his brother. They were over there as well. You know what I was thinking of there? You know, you were talking about Luis Suarez. Remember, we went to Norwich away.
Yeah.
Remember that? In 2014.
Hottest day of the year. You had a pair of jeans on and you laughed at me for wearing shorts, didn't you?
Hottest day of the year. So we were getting the bus. Remember this? We were getting the bus at 2 o'clock in the morning, I think it was.
It was at 12 kick-off, wasn't it? So we had to get up at bells.
Yeah, so we were getting the bus in Liverpool at like 2 o'clock in the morning. So we were drinking anyway that night, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then, so we went to bed, we'd only had like two hours kit. And then we got up to go to the bus from the meeting. And we got there and then we realised that we'd messed the times up and we got there at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So we were an hour early for the bus, remember?
Went in the cat and fiddle, 2 seconds, sorry, I've just got to get a charger, I do apologise. We went in the cat and fiddle.
Yeah, go on, mate.
For the pint, didn't we? Went in the cat and fiddle for the pint because it was, because you let me in at all hours there, don't you?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Quick one in the old cat and fiddle there.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Then what?
That
How
was
long
like,
is the bus down to Norwich? Is that
it's
like a
about
9-hour bus or something?
no, it's about. I think we got it was a coach, wasn't it? So I think it took about 6 hours. But obviously, for those who don't know, Norwich is possibly the worst place in the UK to get to because there's no motorways. It's all little roads, isn't it? So that's
Yeah.
why you have to leave so early. It's like down on the East Coast. To
Yeah.
apologise, I've got my charger now. I'll get a grip. I'll be better next time. All right.
That's all right, mate. Don't you worry about it. We've had lawnmowers, kids on trampolines.
Yeah, it's just that my life's just exited me. So, yeah. So that was like I had shorts on, and you saying you two wearing shorts off, lads. Did you check the weather? He says, you muppet. And they had no aircon on the coach, did they? You suffering.
Mate.
Coming back in your undies.
Sweating, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was arsehole, Suarez.
Absolutely sweating.
Is it 5-0 or something?
Yeah,
that
Suarez, man.
Just Suarez.
That was
Sterling and Sturridge, wasn't it? I think, if I remember rightly.
I think something like that. I think
it
we
was.
won 3-2 in the end, I think.
Oh, was it? I thought it was the
Something like
5-0.
that.
I can't remember what one that was it?
No, yeah, it was. I think it was 3-2.
Was it that one? Oh,
I think
I've
so.
been down there,
But yeah, it was mad, wasn't it? All right, talking of mad ones, let's talk about going to Kiev, mate. 2018.
18, yeah. Yeah, 18. I was just looking then, the Madrid one was 19, so yeah, it was 18. I was just checking them behind me.
Yeah.
That's your ticket.
So,
there.
so Jay, Adam's brother, and Adam both had the credits for the ticket for the final, but Jay couldn't go. So I went on their credit because I'd been the games, hadn't I? But
yeah.
I didn't have it on the credit on the ticket, so I couldn't get a ticket. And we went. So the first thing was, remember, we beat Roma in the first game at Anfield.
That's right, yeah.
And we both went, right, we're booking the flights to Kiev, remember?
Yeah.
We just did it, didn't we?
Yeah. Can't even remember. So we go via Sweden on the way out, wasn't it? Via Stockholm, I think. Yeah.
It was, yeah. It was via Stockholm, yeah.
Yeah. Did we go from London?
And
it was cheaper, we did, you know.
Yeah, we did. We drove down to London the night before, didn't we? We flew.
That's right, yeah. It was cheaper, but yeah, that's right.
And then we got into Kiev, and Kiev's an interesting place, Reds.
Yeah.
Isn't it? To say the least, like.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. Rough, like. I mean, it's obviously worse now because there's a war going on, but we're far we're far off that when we were there. I don't think it'll look much different. Yeah, very interesting place.
Well, very interesting, wasn't it? And so we got there, and my ex-missus at the time had booked us accommodation through Airbnb. Right? So we were in the taxi for like 30 minutes or something from the airport, and we get to this place, and if anyone's ever seen like GoldenEye, James Bond,
yeah,
like that's what it was like. It was like concrete jungle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tower blocks,
whatever you thought,
big wide open roads.
Whatever you thought of old Soviet Union, that was it, wasn't it?
That was it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There wasn't any tanks, but apart from the tanks,
the cars were like tanks. The cars were just as big as tanks. But yeah.
So anyway, we get to the Airbnb, and I think I remember saying to Adam, like that 30-minute Uber cost us like £6 or something.
Yeah, it was something.
It was so cheap, wasn't it?
Incredible, yeah.
So then we go in. We go into the Airbnb, and there was a woman there, wasn't there? And can you remember the door? Can you remember the door?
There was about 3 doors on one apartment just to get in, wasn't there? Those rough rounds here, like, innit?
And it was like a safe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah,
it was like a safe door, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was massive, yeah.
And we go in, and the woman's like, just you two?
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah. And she was like, oh.
Yeah.
Wasn't she?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh yeah. And she was like, oh, no woman. And we were like,
yeah. Oh.
no.
Yeah.
And we were like, I'm going to sleep in there.
Yeah.
And he's going to sleep in there. She weren't going to let us stay, was she?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't impressed, was she? There's also she even saying, "Where's the woman?" And shit. It's not like that. Like, it's not like that. Yeah, mad. Yeah, I remember. I thought we were going to kick us out there, and then if I'm being honest, then we'd have been knackered, wouldn't we? Because we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, we would have been snookered, wouldn't we? And then that night we went for a pizza.
Yeah, God, remember that.
And so this is a story. Go on, you kick us off.
No, it was just we went when I got a pizza at Sutton Street, didn't we? And we said, oh, we'll just have Sutton Street to get an early night, and then he said, how much is that?
This is the night before the game, innit?
Yeah. He said
the night before the game.
I think it worked out literally. We'd had a couple of pints and 2 big massive pizzas, and it was about £7. And we were like, oh, we may as well have a few more. Anyway, these lads come in, don't they? 3 lads. Walk straight up to us. Says, do you want to fight? And I'm like, you know, I mean, I've never had that introduction anyway, so that quickly. But we were like, well, nah, why would we want to fight? Just because we don't want to fight. We were like, nah. Anyway, they start talking to us, do this translate things, don't they? And they're on the phone, and they're asking if we've got tickets for the game and that, aren't they? We're like, yeah, no, we've not got tickets, we haven't got any tickets. Alright, which we did, obviously, but we knew what they were up to. Anyway,
there was people, wasn't there? They were like beating people up and taking the passports and the tickets.
That's what they were doing, it was right over there, yeah. So then, and they were like, right, sound, see you later, boys. We were like, yeah, come on, and then you said, didn't you? You went, come on, let's go. And I remember you went down the stairs, because you'd go to the toilet and then we're going to go. And you went down the stairs, come straight back up, and you look out the window, and there's about 20 of them, wasn't there, outside on motorbikes, do you remember?
Yeah.
We had to said to the waitress, where are we going to go? We went out the front, we went, fucking not. So you remember, you just left them up, we let Bruce at the door open to the kitchen, the chefs and that are in there, aren't they? And we just ran through the kitchen, straight down the fire escape at the back, and we're just running through Kiev, me and you. And these lads are outside waiting to obviously fill us in and take the tickets. But that was airy, man. It was a bit airy, that like.
It was nuts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And what I remember is as well, the pizza place was over the road. At the front of the pizza place, it was over the road from where we were staying. So we had to go down like 2 blocks, 3 blocks. Remember?
Yeah.
And then cut back on ourselves.
And trying to find your apartment in somewhere that looks exactly the same is hard, wasn't it? It was hard because every block, the flats looked exactly the same. Because, like you were saying, it was grey, wasn't it? It was just golden esque.
It was,
that was hard work, but we got there in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, and I remember closing that big safe door.
Yeah.
Boom, to the apartment. And I was like,
that was lucky, that.
That was close, that.
That was lucky.
That was close. And then the next day I remember getting up to go to the stadium and seeing 2 Spanish lads in Real Madrid shirts and looking at them thinking, those boys aren't going to last fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah, they're going to get it. Yeah, I remember
They're going to get done, these boys, like.
You had your shirts, didn't you? You put it in your bags, didn't you? Until you got by the ground.
Yeah. Because I've got my shirts and stuff that but I never really wore my shirt, did I? Unless it was a cup final. I always like to wear them for the cup finals. Yeah. But on that day I was like, there's no chance. I mean, let's be honest, we looked British anyway, didn't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
We looked British. Well, I looked more Turkish.
You probably looked more Spanish, actually, thinking about it. You probably looked more like a Real Madrid fan.
I know. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it didn't get me a kicked in. But the whole Kiev was mad, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Kiev was bonkers.
Mad place, cheap as anything, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, you couldn't spend your money, could you? Remember, we went to we were in the fan park, and we were in the fan park, and I went to the bar and got like six beers on a tray. So I ordered 4, and then I said to the girl, "Oh, can I have 2 more?" So she went, "Yeah," and put them down, and then just walked away and didn't charge me.
Yeah, I
So I was
remember.
buzzing and went back to the boys. I was like, "Hey boys, I never paid for these," and the boys were like, "And what? It's like £4."
It was though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I remember
we
even-
came back with
money, didn't we? Never done that before.
yeah we came back with money. We couldn't spend it, could we? And then, can you remember who we met in the on the plane and in the airport?
Harry Macker, was it? Was it Macker? That one?
No, Henrik Larsson.
Henrik Larsson on the way back, wasn't it? It was on the way back, that.
Yeah, remember that? Wasn't that mad?
Yeah, I was getting confused then. So I remember Gary Macker going over to Seville a couple of years ago. That's what that one was. Yeah, Henrik Larsson. He's all right, really, actually, considering.
Yeah, he was all right, wasn't he? Considering he's a man, Clive.
Yeah, that's it. You forget that, though, don't I?
Yeah.
Forget that. I forgot that, like. But
Yeah, it was mad, wasn't it?
wasn't it? Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
crazy.
we went to that war museum and it cost us like 16p to get in.
Yeah, if he was trying to give us change, we were like, nah, you're all right, lads, you can have it.
When are we going to spend this change?
Yeah, that game, we should have won that. But obviously, you know what happened there. Ramos took Salah out, didn't he? And then Karius had a shocker, and unfortunately for him, he's never recovered, has he? His career since that.
No.
And he hasn't to say. But yeah, have
It's
a
a
bye.
shame, innit? It's a shame about Karius.
Yeah,
Because he's had a good year that year, mate.
Do you know what? Everyone forgets that, especially in the Champions League, and he played all the league games as well, especially in the Champions League. He done well. But then I remember the pre-season after it, because you say I'm sticking with Karius, I'm sticking with him. And then he played Tranmere, and he had a howler against Tranmere, and then the Kloppo was just like, nah, not happening. He needs another goalkeeper in, obviously. We managed to get the best one in the world. I don't care what anyone says, that's what he is. So, especially now, in Allison. So, yeah, Karius never got over that, did he? That overhead kick from Bale was just frightening, wasn't it? So I've never watched that back. I've never watched it back.
No,
watched that game back.
I've never watched the game back. No, but I mean, it's one of them. Both moments, the Karius when he throws the ball at Benzema, and the Bale overhead kick. I'd always like. It's one of the highlights that pops up all the time, innit?
Yeah.
Salah went off injured.
Yeah. Was it that year after it wasn't it, when we done quite well for the run in Europe away, didn't we, me and you? And then we won it obviously that year, didn't we? Next year was Bayern and all that, wasn't it? Yeah. Bayern, Barca.
Yeah, we did well on the run that year, didn't we?
We went over to Munich, didn't we?
Yeah, Munich was class, wasn't it?
Yeah, you did it right.
You know what? Where would you put that stadium, mate, in all the stadiums you've been to?
I think it's the best one.
Yeah, I think it's the best one.
I hope it's a short.
The Allianz in Munich.
I'm lucky enough, Dortmund and the new camp and the San Siro and all that, but I think that's the best one because it's a new stadium as well, isn't it? But they've got it right there, like they've got it right, like the way they've done it. There's some new stadiums, you know what it's like. They haven't got a soul, have people. I don't know if it's because it's in Germany or what, but yeah, that was a cracker, that.
Yeah, remember being in the beer hall, and the manager was like, "If you don't stop singing, we're gonna close the hall." Remember, and he shut it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he got busy. He said to them, "You better start open it back up," and he said, "You better just open again."
Yeah, yeah.
The police opened the bar again, which is mad.
Yeah.
The police opened the bar. They didn't close it. The busies were like, "Get it open because you're gonna cause a riot here." Yeah.
And then we went to that other pub over the road, and we didn't realise it was a Bayern pub. did we? Until it was too late, like.
We were well oiled, weren't we? We'd had a few scoops, and it was just a sea of red, wasn't it? But they had that all red kit that season, so. And then we didn't clock it, so we got to the bar. The fellas were laughing at us, weren't they? Like saying, "You're brave, aren't you?" But you know, like the Germans, they're not murder, are they? They're good, aren't they? They're a good
No, they're brilliant.
You know, it's not like almost.
And we were all on the same.
Yeah. It's not like almost watching.
We were all on the same train.
Yeah, it's not like Italy or. Yeah, it's not like Italy where it's a bit dodgy and parts of France. Germany's brilliant. Every time we go to Germany, you always have a good skip. I went over to Leipzig, didn't I, this year for the Champions League? That was another good one. Yeah, they do it right, don't they, the Germans? It's good Munich. It's good, obviously, the results.
It was good Munich.
Yeah, we're going to go down.
The beers were flowing, weren't they? And the reds were mustard.
Yeah.
Mane scored that goal that I missed because I was
You
at the
missed
bar.
because you were getting a bevy, yeah. Seen the rest of them, though, seen Virgil's and that, didn't you? Virgil scored, didn't he? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Virgil
We went a goal down, didn't we? Went a goal down. Can't remember if it was Muller or Lewandowski.
Did we?
Yeah, we went a goal down. Yeah, we were 1-0 down against Bayern. I'm sure we were, or we were just 1-1. I can't remember. Everyone will probably know. Yeah. Probably saying what's he on about? He doesn't go anywhere, and he hasn't got a clue. But
well, we went everywhere, but we were hammered, weren't we? So
yeah, that's the problem. We were blazers, yeah.
Reds, thank you so much for listening and watching this podcast. Unfortunately, due to technical issues, and Adam's in the busiest house ever. That's all we've got for this week's podcast. But we will have Adam back on in the future to talk about more of those stories about when we go the game. And he's also going to join us, hopefully, after Liverpool beat Crystal Palace on the last game of the season when we get to lift that trophy. If you haven't already, give us a like, subscribe, review, all that sort of stuff. Follow us on our Facebook page, Instagram as well. We'll be putting up loads of content there. Thanks to everyone who's supported us really and helped our journey so far. We're growing, we're getting there with your support, and I just want to let you know I really appreciate it. And next time I speak to you, the Liverpool will hopefully have beaten Arsenal as well, I think. That'd be nice. Up the Reds.
We are the Reds down under, and this is our podcast.